Chuchu TV, a name you've most likely heard in the past. Maybe you grew up on it. I know I did. Maybe that was the case for your younger sibling. Perhaps they've gotten so invested in it that they start getting attached to the surprise egg business a little more. You could say they're near invested. But who isn't? With 48,571,972,619 views altogether as of writing this, over 69 million subscribers, and the fact they've been around since February 9th, 2013, the channel has most certainly made a mark on the YouTube platform. But what if I told you this was all part of an elaborate plan? What if I told you there was more to the scheme that you may believe? Maybe this was all what the writers intended. But these cracks, once you look into them, are quite evident. With the ritual turning children into eggs, an antagonistic green elephant, and how this story seeps into the real world, Chuchu TV, or rather, Chuchu TV Surprise, is darker than you think. Chuchu TV Surprise episodes function in a simple fashion. These four kids are sent into this room in one way or another by this green elephant unicorn creature known as Mr. Harlow. Inside the room are several eggs, each different colors because we most definitely are learning colors in a toddler video channel, in a basket. One by one, they each plead to the children to open them, begging for the release of being opened to reveal what is inside of these eggs. Simple, right? Now, there are a few points I have for a series like this. The first point I have in mind is the fact that these eggs are alive and sentient. Now, imagine if you were, all of a sudden, turned into an egg. Now, how would you try spending your life? You can't move. You can't move freely, feel pleasure, or joy. Can't end it all. You have no choice but to simply be. You have no mouth. And you must scream. A strange description for a random scenario, right? What if I told you this was how the eggs in Chuchu TV Surprise functioned? Well, save for the fact they have the precious gift of being able to see and speak. This would be alright if they weren't placed in a basket in front of children who want to open them. Now, if you were in this scenario, what would you do? Would you try begging to your captors to set you free, turn you back somehow? Would you ask them to let you have at least one small semblance of your normal life back? This would be a common answer, but what if? What if you were conditioned into thinking this to be the ideal? These eggs are obsessed with being opened, and the kids want to open them bad. This happens frequently, which is why there's a whole series in the channel dedicated to opening these eggs. It's repeating, almost like a ritual. Children are persuaded to believe opening eggs is good, despite what goes on in the background. And we don't really see what does go on in the background, right? Well, there's more to this. What if I told you these people are being turned into eggs? Now, there isn't much proof. But that's because the process is undercover and propaganda, so that's why we never see anything bad with opening these eggs. But there's a lot of things wrong with these eggs. Do you recall Chuchu TV Fun Zone? A series where these three people, Wanny, Eggsy, and Spanny, enter what appears to be an indoor park, hence the Fun Zone title. Of course, there's ball pits and surprise eggs. Now, what's really eyebrow-raising is Eggsy's entire existence. Eggsy, as you may know, is an anthropomorphic egg. But what if he wasn't always like this? Eggsy, if you look at his design, he still has human-like skin. What I mean by that is, he's not green like Harlow or purple like the hippo. He's flesh-colored. And no other egg is like this. Not even the other egg humanoid, Humpty Dumpty, who is completely white. This is because he was transformed. But due to an incident, his transformation was halted halfway, and he escaped somehow. Maybe he just wanted to open more eggs. Since he's out in the public already, the catalyst can't just take him away and complete the transformation. People will notice. Or will they? Besides nursery rhymes, surprise eggs, the most popular surprise egg video on their channel being their sixth most popular video, are their main business. Actually, nursery rhymes are more popular by a landslide, and their more recent videos have mainly shifted to focus on that, their last surprise egg video being from 10 months ago. Maybe they're trying to cover up the past of their surprise egg indoctrination. Plus, looking into said video, the eggs aren't even sentient. Maybe they've caught on to people who found out about their ways and decided to bury their past in its entirety. But we will never forget, especially not when Eggsy was around. But what about the fully transformed eggs? What happened to them? Well, considering the fact they have near identical voices to the children, we can assume that these eggs were children as well. Maybe they went through the same path as our four main characters. Maybe this is all one big cycle. But with how long these four children have lasted, even with new characters showing up, grouped with the fact these kids somehow know a spell that can do anything the kids wish, chi, chu, cha. There's a chance that these four are just poster children for something bigger. But what is it? That's where your siblings come into play. Remember how I said Chuchu TV has 48 billion views in total, a good portion of those views going to their Surprise Egg series? They want, or at least wanted, your kids to watch this series. With the flashy, overstimulating colors of every popular kids channel, they know that they're getting to our youth, and they relish in it. They want to condition your kids into thinking the same way their four main mascots do. That's why they're so young. They want to relate to the audience. And if the kids can relate, they'll become enraptured in the ritual of opening surprise eggs as well. And if they're conditioned enough, they'll be led away, and eventually, you know how it ends. Now, you could simply chalk this up to a work of fantastical fiction, and you could call me insane for trying to dissect something as simple as, haha, rainbow eggs appeal to babies. But what if that's what they want you to think? You can't always assume the characters are having such a fun time playing like normal kids. Not when they've been kids for 10 years. Not when they've built an empire off their indoctrination. Anyways, that's all for this essay. I hope you enjoyed it!